right, is there anything further from the people?
At this time, subject to the receipt of the people's exhibits into evidence, the people rest.
It's still O.J. Simpson. It's no disguise. It's no disguise. It makes no sense. It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Piece of potential evidence everybody is talking about online, the glove that the police almost missed. It was dropped, or it was thrown out outside the home where the 4 college students were stabbed to death in Moscow. And there is a good chance that it would still be there right now, but for a former homicide detective turned podcaster who noticed it while he was actually visiting the scene on Thanksgiving, which is 11 days after the murders. Chris McDonough is a veteran of the Oceanside, California Police Department, and currently he's the director with the National Cold Case Foundation. He's also co-host of the podcast, The Interview Room, and he is live with me tonight. Detective, it's so good to have you. First of all, I am shaking my head as I even think I'm doing this interview with you. Take me there. Tell me what happened. You literally showed up and looked down and said, hello, gentlemen, come over here. Have you seen this? Is that really how simple this was?
Yeah, it really was, Ashley. I mean, it was my wife and I, it was Thanksgiving Day. We happened to be up here in Idaho. And I said to her, I said, hey, let's just go over where that, situation's taking place at the university to get some tape. And we're walking up the street, and the first thing that caught my attention, to be honest with you, was all of the cars still parked on the property. And then I looked over and I saw there was an officer controlling the scene sitting in his vehicle. And I looked to the left and I saw that what appeared to be a glove. And I looked at my wife and I said, is that a glove? And she goes, yeah, I think it is. And so about where Brian was standing tonight, I walked over and looked over, and sure enough, it was a glove.
I am going to, Chris, thank you for saying that. When we go back to Brian in a little bit, I'm going to actually ask him to walk me to the exact spot so that everybody who's watching right now gets the full perspective. Sometimes it's hard when you're watching through a one-dimensional TV screen, so I'm going to do that. In the meantime, help me with this one, because you're the murder detective, but you're also the person who found it. What kind of glove was it, and the significance of the kind of glove as pertains to a murder?
Well, I can't really tell what type of glove it is, if it's a male, female. And obviously the significance may be nothing, but it also could be very significant. There appeared to have snow on it, so I assumed it had been there for quite some time, at least before the earlier snowfall. I later learned there are photographs of that glove floating online, and you can clearly see it there. And I was unaware of those at the time. And when I told the officer, I waved him over and I said, hey, you need to come take a look at this. And he walked over and his first words were, oh, wow. And I said, yeah, and I told him, I said, hey, I'm a retired homicide guy. You probably want to collect that, get your evidence people out here to do that. And he took some photographs of it, and I assumed that they, had collected it. I videotaped them doing it just in case, at least taking the photographs. But yeah, it was crazy. It was just sitting there.
And this is, to be clear, it's inside the crime tape. This was not something that you discovered outside the crime tape, but they weren't watching, they weren't looking for it. So they'd had 11 days to scour the outside of the property. And I need to remind our viewers that you're from California, where one of the biggest first cases of my career happened, and a bloody glove was the significant piece of evidence in O.J. Simpson's case, which is why we don't make light of something that's just maybe looks like garbage. Certainly that's just a couple dozen feet from the front door.
Yeah, I mean, the significance of it, is unknown at this point. Obviously, if it is involved, then it could be, very important. If it's not, then, at least you have it and you can put it into evidence just to say it's there. So, the officer, in my opinion, said he was going to bring the evidence folks to come collect it. And I hope they did that, to be honest with you.
So the other key part here is that you, as a homicide detective, you've seen the inside of a courtroom or two. And today the police were telling us part of the reason they're keeping information so close to the guests is to preserve the pristine nature of the prosecution, of the criminal procedure. So I could see a defense attorney watching our interview right now and saying, you didn't even see the most critical evidence, even inside the crime tape for over a week and a half. Like, you leave something too long and that becomes fodder for a defense later on as well. So it's a problem if you don't pick it up for the investigators. It's also a problem for the prosecutors. I'm going to just give you about 20 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely, and 100%. I mean, and so you got to ask yourself, why were the cars still there for 2 or 3 weeks? I mean, the first thing you do is you work the crime scene from the outside in. You don't work the crime scene from the inside out. And those cars should have been impounded within day 1 or day 2.
Yeah, I also thought that they should be looking at the GPS of all those cars, and you don't do that while they're parked. So that's fascinating. And you and I are going to have a longer conversation about working a case from the outside in. So this is your formal invitation back. Chris McDonough, thank you so much for being here tonight. Really appreciate it.
Welcome back to my Mental Health and Crime channel. My name is Huda London. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and a licensed cognitive behavior therapist. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the contents in this channel. I thought this was a very interesting interview. I believe Chris McDonough gave us many good tips about how crime scenes are conducted and how you're supposed to work yourself from the inside to the out, or was it the outside to the inside? I believe from the inside to the outside. He's the man who found the black glove in front of the garbage bin outside 1122 King Road. It could have fallen from one of the suspects, or it could have fallen from a police officer. We wouldn't know. I found it interesting that it still hasn't come out in the reports. I'm waiting to see that. From the beginning of this case, I found so many stuff that I put out, which I keep on repeating, like Saeed and his gloves. The crowd yelling Zana at 2 a.m. at night. Number 9 putting something in Zana's mouth. No, sorry, Maddie's mouth. The reason I mention all that is because I believe I'm finally bringing pieces together. After all that I've found, and after things other people have found, things are actually starting to fall in place. I've shown you all the black glove before, and many people have argued and told me that you're seeing things, it's not a black glove. Many people have agreed with me that they see a black glove. And that has to do with the 3 Banfield boys from Alpha Kappa Lambda. The timeline is on the 13th of November 2022 at 3:11 and 16 seconds. Within a minute from now, you see the figures running. But I wanted you all to focus on the blonde hair guy with the night goggles or sunglasses, whatever it is. Looks like it belongs to Ethan for some reason. Ethan used to love gathering sunglasses. This guy's name is Ethan, interestingly enough. Ethan Knight, I told you all about him. He had a case going on unaliving his father and the family dog. He said it was under self-defense. He was on parole. Right then, that day, that time, he was still on parole. The prosecutor believed that he unalived his father on purpose. So he knows how to use paw. He's good in using a GUN. Now, Please pay attention to his hand. Am I imagining, or does he have on one glove? I see one glove. Unless his shirt has a black leather on it, which I doubt. And I see him clearly trying to search for the other glove in his pockets. He's above shirt pockets and his pant pockets. The Banfield boys could have been involved. I've said that from the very beginning. I've always mentioned the Sigma Chi fraternity boys and the Alpha Kappa Lambda boys because I've been researching them for 3 years. When I said the fraternities from the very beginning, I was following where this case was leading me. I was obviously taking the police's affidavits into consideration, in fact, serious consideration, but yet again I was following the actions, the behaviors, of people like Jack Showalter, rumors going on, SEX, assault, harassments, thrown out of his fraternity, then the Alpha Kappa Lambda boys and their story with their president who was unalived, OD'd, Caden Young. Right when the Banfield boys were being stopped, their president, you have one of the Banfield boys, in fact 2 of them, sitting down says, that is Taylor Parkhill, the one on the left. He's the one in Banfield, the tall guy with his hands always folded on the Banfield clip, body cam. And then you have the mixed race or the black guy sitting next to him. He's at Banfield too. He's got that big bump on his head. And then you have Caden Young above. Caden Young, may he rest in peace, was the young man who was unalived by a fentanyl OD that was related to Demetrius and Emma Bailey. These are the Alpha Kappa Lambda boys. The new president after Caden Young, or actually before Caden Young, I believe, was Nick Scott. Scott Green, his son, was the president at one time. And Caden Young was the president too. He was a journalist student, a very bright student. I believe he found out something about these people. He must have found out that they could have done the quadruple unalivings. And he was the journalist president in Anagon or Amagon, whatever it is called, the journalism school in Moscow, Idaho. Caden Young was a young man with a bright future. And let's not forget, the first time he was OD'd, Demetrius saved him. Actually, God saved him, but Demetrius did CPR on him, and he survived. That is what Ashton Couch, who praises Demetrius for saving him and saying that Demetrius is a good guy. She speaks to him 3 times a day. That's more than I speak to my mother even. And she says she speaks to Emma once a day. They're such good friends, and they wouldn't do that. So I believe all these people were connected. The Banfield boys was connected with Emma and Demetrius, in my opinion. They were working for them, in my opinion. Just my opinion. That's what my research, the rumors, speculations are coming in play with. Saeed was there that night. He's part of the Alpha Kappa Lambda boys. So you have Caden Young on the far right of the roof, and you have Saeed Ali. And these other two guys from Alpha Kappa Lambda fraternity. So it wasn't only the Sigma Chi fraternity, I believe, that were involved. Something was up with this fraternity for Caden Young to have walked into trouble. He doesn't look like a kid who would have been on drugs, especially on fentanyl. I think they OD'd him to silence him. And I believe the Idaho 4 was silenced too, the 4 victims, because they were talking, especially Ethan. And I heard that Hudson Linda was talking to. So I think these people were silencing anyone who talks, and there were other motives too, in my opinion only. The one in the middle is Ethan Knight. He's the one who unalived his father and his family dog under self-defense. The case was dismissed recently, but he was on parole that time. He was bailed out actually for $25,000. Then you have Peter Reagan, the man on the far left with the hoodie. He has a bump on his head, a huge bump. He's from Alpha Kappa Lambda 2. And then you have Taylor Parkhill on the far right, and he's the treasurer minister of Alpha Kappa Lambda. The middle one is some kind of minister too, and so is the one on the left. It's them downstairs once again, and you have Saeed. And then you have Caden Young that was OD'd, that was from their fraternity. I wonder if Ethan and Zana were having some beef with the Alpha Kappa Lambda and the Sigma Chi fraternity. I don't believe this is a coincidence. What if Emma and Demetrius were renting the vacant room in 1122 King Road? We saw Hunter there plenty of times. People could have been dealing in that room. She was friends with Ash and Coach, and maybe Caden Young told on them. Maybe he refused to keep silent, so they OD'd him with fentanyl. It didn't work the first time, but they succeeded, unfortunately, the second time, in my opinion. We have seen Emma in that house when the noise complaint took place. We saw her putting something in her behind. Hate to say that, but that is true. She's an experienced criminal, in my opinion. These people were silencing Hudson Lindo, Hannah Cleve, Kaylee, Maddie, Zana, Ethan, and then Caden Young. They even assaulted Tim Roth badly, if you remember. And they recently assaulted another kid. So this is behavior that are seriously concerning. Violent assaults going on, rugs going on, and I believe they're just blaming it on one person. It's maybe Emma Bailey who gave BK a job as a rug dealer. Or maybe he was getting the connections for her. Maybe they decided to frame him later. Anything is possible. Could Caden have been selling rugs too? Working with Emma Bailey and Demetrius? Possibly. There's some kind of connection here that I'm trying to figure out between the Alpha Kappa Lambda boys and this house. Moscow, Idaho, 1122 King Road. And even 1119 King Road is very interesting for me. These two are connected to the OD. Why were they hanging around in Moscow, Idaho? That was their rug base. Did Ash and Koch move out because it became too dangerous? There is a rug link here. Definitely. Follow the money. I can't even understand how she's defending Demetrius and saying she speaks to him 3 times a day. And she's defending Emma Bailey too, saying she speaks to her once a day. So is she working for Demetrius to be speaking to him 3 times a day? Is my question. It does look like he has on gloves. 1 glove on the right hand. But then at times it looks like it's a shadow. Let me know in the comment channel what y'all think, if y'all see a glove or not. But there's a part that he's searching for the other glove, I believe. I'm talking about the guy in the glasses, the sunglasses or night glasses, Ethan Knight. Let me know what y'all think. I see gloves or a glove.
Okay. I don't know how much that would be.
Probably not more than a couple $100.
Yeah, it didn't drive, so.
That's fair. Probably less than what you guys pay in a weekend of beer for a good party, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seems to be a pretty slow weekend. I was expecting it to be busier with
I'm pretty sure it's.
the football game and Saturday. Like I was expecting busy, but it's slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go ahead and start using this.
Oh, fucking cool. Yeah.
No, me.
Okay. I got you.
Information here, rest of information on here, but that's all your information.
So is it like if you get multiple MIPs and MICs, it'll turn into an actual charge?
Yeah. So it's your third one turns into a misdemeanor, which is a criminal charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this guy's forehead. Peter Reagan. Did he have a fight with Ethan, Zana, Kaylee, or Maddie? That's my question. I heard the timing is off an hour. So was this 4:08 or was this 2:08? Let me know, guys, what y'all think. Somebody told me that he did not wake up next morning, but we would have heard that, and I've researched it everywhere. So I believe he's fine, alive somewhere. I wonder who he fought with that night. And it's strange that the police are saying it was such a quiet night. There was nothing quiet. 4 figures are running behind them. How could it be quiet? I don't know if it's a glove or not, but he has something black on one hand. Very often. And this guy has Vans shoes on. His pants don't look right. Look at the color of it even. Taylor's looking into the bushes, into Maddie's jacket. These 3 boys came from 1122 King Road, and so did the 4 figures, in my opinion. I don't know what's the black thing. On the one on the left, his hand. It looks like a glove, it looks like a shadow. Something's not right. So did one glove fall from him? The one that Chris McDonough found? At least now he has his hand in his pocket, so you can't see if he has the glove on. Could there be someone in this car? The small blue car?
Copy. I'll bring him over in.
We have the black truck passing by Taylor Avenue exactly at 3 a.m. and 47 seconds. It looks like the one that's parked in Taylor Avenue the other day. Was that Quinn Kelly who was driving that truck? His father's truck, in my opinion. Was it DM stepmother's black truck?
Come on over here. All right, if you guys all want to stand somewhere in this area, don't run off on me. None of you guys are 21. It's one thing to drink.
I'm wondering if my subscriber, Jay, she knows who she is. Is this reflection what you were thinking about? When I zoom in, I think it's the reflection of the tree on the other side and the light. But it could be possible that it's a person. Many people have emailed me this image. So I don't know which timestamp you're talking about. Send it to me and let me check closer. But this is something I've noticed too that looks really weird. I wonder if there's anyone in that blue car. I know there's somebody in that white car behind there. And I'll make a clip and show you. I've showed it 2 years ago. I really believe there are many people in the bushes, behind the bushes, the parking place, Taylor Avenue, those houses. We heard DM and BF, especially BF, saying that she was in an apartment in Taylor Avenue. Even the pictures were taken in one of these apartments, right behind the trees. You can see the white ladders and everything, white tree steps. Let me know what you'll think about the black glove. Let me know what you'll think about Alpha Kappa Lambda boys, Emma Bailey, Demetrius, Ashton Koch, the former roommate. The connection of Caden Young is OD. May rest in peace. He was a journalist student. I brought up this theory 1.5 years ago, and you can see people are just taking things from my channel without fair use purpose, especially pictures. But that's all right. I think the fair thing to do is to give credit to where you get it from. But I guess people have different kind of morals, especially the new people. Because there are rules. Can't just take something because you need it or because you find it to be a nice picture or something. Especially a content. Because everyone does hard work on this. But when it's not mentioned by people and they're just saying taking it, then we are kind of forced to mention, like children where it was first found or who exposed it out first. Because it does take a lot of work, honestly, guys. Anyway, thank you all for your support, your kindness, your understanding. Please like, share, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. I don't believe Koberger did these crimes. And if he did it, I don't believe he did it by himself. There's more than one person who did it. There's 3 unidentified male DNAs. The Banfield boys are up to no good. Look at the timing. This just can't be a bloody coincidence. Pardon my French, but honestly, this is a lie. This is a cover-up, in my opinion. The surviving roommates, the Jacks, the Davids, Alpha Kappa Lambda, Sigma Chi fraternity, Kaylee sorority, Maddie, Zana, DM, and BF sorority need to talk. Where's the naked man who was running? Was it a naked woman? Because somebody sent me an email saying from the college that it was BF who was running naked. Don't know. Please like, share, and subscribe.